This little 1/24th crawler is packing some serious hardware. Let me show you how I put it all together. Welcome back to AscendRC. This is part 2 of the NerdRC Gizmo build. In part 1 we assembled the Gizmo chassis with the hybrid V2 links and the radiator geometry. If you haven't seen that, link is up here. Today we're dropping in all electronics, drive shafts, the Gadget transmission, and finishing this thing off with a custom painted body and a first drive. And everything is here, as you can see it. The finished car that I will be going over. And also the body itself. Alright, I will be going over all the specs now. The entire build I will be talking through and discussing why I have chosen the hardware that I have. And the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the Injora Micro Brushless EC. It's the MBL32 G2. It runs on AM32 firmware, specifically tuned for microcrawlers. It's a 2.3S LiPo compatible. It's a 25 amp continuous and a 60 amp peak. It has a built-in BSC with adjustable outputs, so you can switch between 6 volts and 7.4. Important, set to 6 volt for 2S and adjust to 3S. It has a waterproof design. It's PC programmable with the USB card, and that comes included with the kit. Factory settings are pre-optimized for the 1721 motor that I have here. I have the Gold Viper, but also you have the purple Viper. Low voltage cutoff, fail-safe and rotor lock protection built in. And the dimensions are 30 by 19 by 12 high. It's a tiny footprint for a brushless EC, and as you can see here, it's small enough that I can fit it on the side rail. Why this one? It's the go-to micro brushless EC right now. AM32 firmware gives you smooth, linear, low speed crawling with a punch at the top. Plug and play with the Gold Viper. And that brings us right into the motor. It's a sensorless brushless outrunner, 14 pole, 12 slot design. It is 2800 kV rating, smooth crawling speeds on 2S and more aggressive on 3S. It's only weigh 18.5 grams. And it is 17 by 21 millimeters, so it's incredibly compact. The Gold Viper is the updated version over the purple Viper. It has a new gold finish and reduced the mid-range noise, slightly improved torque. And as you can see here, the Gold Viper really fits the build of the NerdRC Gizmo, since we have the gold chassis and purple links. Protective sleeve at the wire outlet, durability improvement. And I have also sleeved all my wires that we will go over in a minute. Best suited for rigs under 700 grams, and that is perfect for the Gizmo. I am running it forward facing with the Gadget transmission. And why this one? The 1721 is the standard in 1/24th brushless crawling right now. The Gold Viper specifically cleans up the mid-range noise the purple had. Paired with the MBL32 G2, it's a matched system. When you buy it from Injora, you can choose to buy it as a kit. Then we come into the transmission and gearing. I am using the NerdRC Gadget transmission with Little Guy Racing Parts 21% overdrive gears. And then I have a 33% underdrive rear axle, so the front tires spin noticeably faster than the rear one. And then we come into the steering. I have choose to use the Injora INJS11B 11 kilogram coreless servo. And this servo can handle both 6 volts and the 7.4 depending on the 2S or the 3S setup that you're choosing. Then we come into the radio system. I have chosen to use the DumboRC DDF-350 controller. This is a really nice one. It's a 10-channel transmitter that is really cheap to buy. It's 2.4 GHz FHSS 10-channel system, as I mentioned, with a color LCD screen. And as you can see here, it's a really nice one. And here you have all the settings and the system here. It's scroll wheel adjustment, so it's really easy to change the settings and move around inside the program. It has a 350 meter range. It's way more than you need for a small crawler, but it's nice to have. It has real-time voltage telemetry up to 40 meters. Here you can see the transmitter strength. The throttle and steering curves are adjustable, useful for dialing in the crawling feel. It has a 10 model memory, so you can run up to 10 models of one transmitter. It has tank mixing, head tracking, wireless coach functions, USB firmware upgradable. It's incredible feature set for this price. The throttle curve adjustment alone makes it worth for crawling. You can really fine-tune the low speed control. And as I say, this is a really affordable and good transmitter for the price, so I really would recommend this one. Then we come into the batteries. I have bought Gensace Tattoo 450 milliamp batteries, both 2S and 3S, that I will be changing to see what fits the car the best. The 2S is making the car go slower, but perhaps a little bit more controllable, and the 3S will be more punchy and go faster, so I will be trying those two to see which one fits the best. The 3S is recommended by Injora for optimal performance and smoother low speed control, so let's see how it works. And the 450 is a happy medium, so you get a little bit of runtime of the pack. And then I have bought the Injora stainless steel drive shafts with a D-shape hole. I've bought the deadbolt front drive shaft and the Gladiator rear, since we have the Gladiator chassis length. And then the shocks. I have chosen the Injora aluminum 35mm oil shocks. It is originally supposed to be used with the Redcat AscendRC, but I thought that 35mm is a good length, so you have a bit of flex. It's an aluminum construction, fully aluminum shock. The Gizmo is designed for longer than standard shocks. They provide clearance and prevent obstacles from snagging the body or getting above the rear tires. But you don't want too long of a shock. A lot of the competition crawlers do have slightly longer shocks, but not like 50mm shocks. They want to have a shorter shock that makes the car behave good, but limits the flex, so it's more easy to control. Then we have the tire and wheels. The tires is Injora 1-inch Mavericks tires. It is 57 by 22 millimeters. The 57mm fits within the Gizmo slider clearance. Recommended is 57 to 62mm range. It is a mud terrain pattern, brass wheels. It has the 4.7mm offset. It is fully brass. It is a low mounted weight, so it lowers the CG by a lot. The 4.7mm offset keeps the tires tucked within the slider profile, but it makes the car wider. So with that, the car gets more planted, so it doesn't flip over as easy. And then we have the wiring and the finishing. All wiring is sleeved with a black braided sleeve. As you can see here, all my wires are black and tucked away. And I have also shortened the cables so it fits this chassis. And I really like the look of it. So I did it to get a really sleek and professional look. So you don't have a mess of cables that run all through the vehicle. Alright, so now you know what I have chosen and a little bit why. I will now show you the build montage when I put everything together. I have filmed short clips when I do certain things when I'm mounting the vehicle or building the vehicle. So I will now cut over to that, and then I will talk about the body here. I'm really excited, and I really think this body fits the vehicle, and it looks really good with the gold and purple that we have here. But enough rambling, let's cut over to the build montage, and then I'm coming back to talk about the painted body. So I have a new strategy here, that I am not cutting the sleeve from the beginning. I'm just putting it on, and then we will fix the ends so it looks really good. As you can see here, it frays. So I will put it on like this, and then I will take my side cutters and take this away so it looks really good. Alright, we finished the braiding of the cables from the motor to the ESC. So I think the look is really good now. It looks really sharp, even though the cables were black from the beginning. We will see an even bigger improvement with the cable from the Servo, since they are color coded. Alright, let's talk about the awesome body, if you ask me. Here you have the full body that I have been painting myself, and I'm really happy with the result. I think it looks really good. And it suits the chassis, I would say. And this is Proline Hilux SR5 1/24th body. It comes unpainted but with a sticker sheet. I painted the roof with the iridescent purple color that suits the purple links. Then I choose the digital camo, so that I painted with one layer of white metallic, and then I sprayed regular white behind it, so it pops a bit more. Since the metallic is quite transparent, I painted the white behind it, so we get a bit more pop of the color. So I masked off the roof first, and then I painted a gold line along the body. So we keep the purple and gold theme from the chassis all the way out to the body. So it have a good, nice theme. So it is like four stage color. I started with iridescent purple, and then I backed it with black paint. So then I removed that one and masked the inside of the body with the digital camo. So then I painted the white metallic and backed it up with the regular white. And after that I masked off everything, and then I painted the whole body inside with this midnight blue color. And lastly I sprayed the inside of the body with black paint. And as you can see, I really like the digital camo. I think it suits the theme of the car really well. And it looks really sharp. Alright, let's measure the CG of the car. It will be really interesting to see how the Gizmo is set up now. So the front weight is 303 grams. So let's put in that. And the rear axle is 207 grams. And the wheelbase, 155 I think. And the overall weight is 516 grams, so 6 grams off from the front and rear weight. So that makes it 59% front weight and 41% rear weight. So that is really good, and I think we can make it even better. Perhaps not as much, but I think we can relocate a few grams here and there to make it perhaps a bit better, but I think 60-40 is a really good split now. Alright, let's do a 4-point measurement so you can see how the app is working. Let's start with the front left tire. So with this measurement we will also get the lateral weight of the axles, 155 grams. And then the front right, 158 grams. Rear left, 113 grams. And then rear right, 105 grams. 155 millimeter wheelbase. And then the overall weight is 515. So you saw that we have like 20 grams that is not really measured right. So it's really crucial. I don't have I perhaps need to print some level surface that we can position the car on, because even the smallest increments in height difference, as you can see here, 110 grams, but just lifting the tire a few millimeters changes the value quite much. So if I want to get this really exact, I will have to print a surface that is exactly the height of the scale here. But for now we have a good measurement. So now on the screen you can see that the front bias is still 59% and the rear bias is 41%. And now we can look at the lateral weights of the axles, since we want a car that is 50-50 split from left to right. So you can see the overall weight is 50-50, 263 grams on the right and 268 grams on the left. But the front axle is dead on 50-50, but the rear axle is skewed a bit. We have 8 grams more on the left, on the rear left, and that is because of the electronics, I would say. I tried to get all the electronics on the right side of the chassis. Since I have the battery on the left slider, I position the motor on the right side of the center here, and as well the ESC and also the receiver is on the right side of the chassis. So when I built it, I tried to position all the electronics in this way, so we spread out the weight, but we want it low and as forward as possible. I can get this vehicle better if I buy a different drive shaft. Preferably I would like to have the motor rear facing, so I can take my battery and place it here in the center of the vehicle. But the transmission itself, the output on the transmission is shorter on the back side where the motor is not facing. So I bought the Gladiator chassis set, so the deadbolt front and Gladiator rear. So I bought the deadbolt front drive shaft, but that is a few millimeters too short, I would say. Even now it is really flimsy and spread apart. So I will be buying a C10 front drive shaft and modify it so I can use it with the deadbolt male end, I think. So then I can switch it around and take my battery and lay it between the chassis rails, and also put it as low as I can. And by that we will get a few percent more front bias, I would say, and the lateral weight will be even better, since we will take this heavy battery and move it more forward on the vehicle, but as well in the center of the car. So we move the left weight now to the center. But a lot of people are driving the cars like this, so it's not a bad setup. So I will be saving this now. I will choose my Gizmo car. And I can just say 4-point measurement with battery on left slider. So that is now saved. So in the future we can compare the Gizmo with these two measurements. So when we are doing more 4-point measurements, we can get more data and compare the two. Now let's take this awesome vehicle on the first drive. First drive with you and me. Alright, that's it. You have seen the awesome Gizmo car. The chassis is awesome chassis that is really well put together. The CG is really down low and the car is really awesome and capable. This is my first scratch build and I think it's really good. It turned out awesome. I'm very happy. I have a few more bodies that I will be painting so I can switch out the looks of the vehicle in the future. But I'm really happy with the body. I think it turned out really good, as I said before. I'm really happy. I hope you as well think it looks superb. If you missed part 1 where I built the chassis, check that one out. Then I go over more in detail what the Gizmo chassis really is. So you can look that up. Alright, so you will be seeing more of this car. I will be driving it a lot in my spare time outside in my garden where I have my RC course now. So with that, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you would have built on the Gizmo platform. And the next video will be an awesome new acquisition from FMS. I am really excited and the next car is really good looking. It's a red and black one, I can say. So comment down below if you know what car I have bought. So with that, I'm very pleased and I'm very happy that you are watching my videos and I hope you get something out of it and that we can build our own little community here. So thank you very much and see you in the next one. Bye.